Imagine you've been thrown naked as the day you've been born into some foreign land and some foreign continent where you don't look like anyone else, you stand out. Say somewhere in the developing world where people, unlike in the West, are ethnically homogenous, as in everyone, phenotypically, they all look the same and you look different. Imagine you're thrown naked into that situation with nothing on you. How do you survive? How do you interact with people? How do you get yourself back into civilization? You have absolutely nothing. No, not even clothes, absolutely nothing. What do you do? Now, having posed that, in the previous video we talked about the 4 different types of capital. If you don't remember, it's personal capital, emotional capital, social capital, and lastly, financial capital. Today we'll be discussing the first one, personal capital. Now, just as a quick recap, personal capital is all the things you have that cannot be removed from you unless there is physical or psychological harm done upon you. As in, all your skills, all your knowledge, all your mechanics, everything that is up here in your head, any language you speak, any motor skill you have, even your physical physique, this stuff is your personal capital, all the stuff that is up in your head that no one can take away from you unless they hacked off a limb, so to say. Which is why I posed this initial question at the beginning of this video, where you've been thrown into this foreign land without anything on you. In that situation, all you would have is your personal capital, such as if you knew how to speak a language, or you have picked up a lot of street smarts, or you are the outdoorsman type and know how to survive in the wilderness. These are all skills that you still have on you that you can utilize to survive. So how do you increase your personal capital? Now we pose this definition of all the stuff you have on you. So how do you increase that? How do you increase your skills, your knowledge, your mechanics, anything that you can have on you that no one can just instantly look at you and say that you have such and such a skill? How do you increase that? Well, think of it as an investment. And with any investment, you either need to put an upfront time investment or an upfront capital investment. Capital, I'm referring to money in this pretense. Either put in time, money, or both. Now, in order to put in time, let's say you want to learn a new language. Well, you need to take the time, even if you're saying using free resources where you're watching this YouTube video, you need to put in the time to actually watch those videos, take notes, or whatever it is that you need to do in order to absorb that knowledge. And once you put in that time and effort, you have acquired that capital that no one can take away from you. How about besides that? How about besides time, money? Say that for that same example of learning a language, instead of just learning it by yourself, you decide to go out and go to your local city college and learn Spanish. You enroll, you have to pay the tuition fees in order to enroll in those classes, or if it's an online course, a lot of online courses, you need to enroll and pay some fee in order to enroll in it. So in that way you can increase your personal capital through your time or financial resources, putting that in order to get something out of it. It's an exchange. And going just beyond the time and the financial part of it, it can also be integrated with the other 3 types of capital that we discussed in the previous video. Now we already talked about the financial capital, paying for tuition fees to attend some course to learn Spanish. That's one. And also it could be another type of capital such as emotional capital. Emotional capital, as a quick recap, which we'll discuss in the next video. Emotional capital is the stuff that the people around you that support you, or it's the inner reservoir of strength where you can physically do something, such as waking up early in the morning. But it takes something to move it forward, something inside that's difficult to explain. You can physically do it, but you need to be willing to do it. That's your emotional capital, and also the people around you is also your emotional capital. So in this sense, in terms of increasing your personal capital, say you have a very supportive spouse that wants you to learn this language. Say that they are from Latin America and they want you to learn Spanish as well, and they're rooting for you along the way, and as well as giving you actually helping you practice as well, which we'll get into in terms of this example. That spouse is rooting for you in order to learn this language and to increase your personal capital by learning a new language, and therefore your emotional capital is being invested as well in order to further your ability in acquiring this language, in acquiring this type of personal capital, this knowledge that you have in your head that no one can take away from you. So that's also how you can use other types of capital to invest and further your personal capital, perhaps even say your social capital. Say if you're living in there's another quick example, say you're living in a third world country and things are a lot more flexible, so to say. I won't get too deep into that. So say that you know someone that can get you enrolled in these local courses without having to pay these fees, that can get you in, get you a seat in that classroom. That's you utilizing your social capital. Social capital again is the people you know, your social circles. So these are just a few quick examples of how you can use your emotional, social, and financial capital to increase your personal capital. Now again, in our next video, we'll be discussing more about the different types of capital, how they all intermix and are all interrelated, by discussing the second type of capital that is on our list, that is our emotional capital. Until then, that's just a little bit more about our personal capital, how we can utilize it.